Now guys, on this video, I want to talk to you about how to get started from say nothing. You're just now getting going. You've just started to say, I want to start looking at my money. I want to start getting better with my money. I actually want to start growing my money. And I just want to change the trajectory of where I've been going with my personal finances, right? If that's you, that's cool, right? This video is for you because I want to, on this video, talk about taking yourself from zero to actually being on a path going upwards in terms of your money, right? And your finances, your personal finances. How do you actually get going in the right direction and on the right track if you're starting from, say, nothing, right? You're just now getting going. This is all brand new to you. You're 20 years old, you're 25, maybe you're 45 or 50, but you really want to get started being better with your money. So I just want to lay out a quick blueprint for you guys. The very first thing I want you to think about is this. You got to have a plan. You got to have a direction for where you want to go. You got to figure out, what do you want 5 years down the road? What do you actually want, say, 10 years down the road, 20 years down with your money? And that may take you a week to think about. It may take you an hour to think about. I don't know, right? Everybody's a little different. But you got to be thinking about where you're going, and then you got to have a strategy to get there. And that's what I want you to put on paper is some goals, some long-term goals, short-term and long-term, right? 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 15 year, 10 year, right? Goals. You don't have to come up with 15 or 20 goals, just a few goals, right? 5 or 6 goals, 4 or 5 goals only. And then you got to figure out action steps that's going to help you meet those goals. So you have goal, 3 or 4 action steps. Goal, 3 or 4 action steps. That's first. This is the habit of thinking about your money, thinking about where you're going, thinking about what you're actually going to do to get better. And then you put those thoughts on paper, a strategy, your plan for you, because personal finance is personal. The second thing I'd ask you to do is to make sure that you actually begin to put a little money aside to have some type of emergency fund, right? $2,000 is enough as a starter or initial emergency fund. Because listen, things come up, right? Car breaks down, stove goes out in your home, whatever it could be. Things come up. So you got to be prepared for those things. And how you be prepared, or how you get prepared, is make sure you have at least a couple of $1,000s of emergency funds set out. Now, you may already have some cash. This is for people that don't have anything but want to start, but you may have a couple thousand or $1,500, right? Or $500. But you need to create a $2,000 emergency fund, and I'd put it in a high yield savings account. Those are typically accounts that you have to start online because you're going to get a little bit of a increase in the interest rate that you're going to be receiving with your money being there. So do your Google and look up high interest rate or high yield savings accounts. So that's where you want to park that money. And if you have to take 6 months to save it up, do it. If you got to take, a year to save it up, whatever it takes. So for some of you, it might take you another paycheck, one paycheck, and you can do it in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, right? But the point is, get that emergency money saved up as soon as possible. Just an initial emergency fund. I'm not talking about your full-fledged emergency fund that's going to be 3 to 6 months of your living expenses or your needs. I'm talking about an initial, right? Just $2,000. That's step number 2. Guys, if you get value from this video, please smash the like button below. And please consider subscribing to this channel if you're not already a subscriber. And also, don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family. Now, the third thing you got to do is you have to make a budget. And then from that budget, you have to actually figure out how much money I have left over, the cushion of money between my expenses and my income. What's that cushion there? Step number 3 is the budget. And it's figuring out the cushion that's left after you pay your bills. Could be $100 for some of you because you're living below your means. It could be a lot more for others, right? But you need to take that cushion and you need to figure out what it is. And then in your budget, whatever the amount of that cushion, put it at the top of your budget from here on out. So the first month, you make a budget. It's written on paper or on a spreadsheet. And you figure out, wow, okay, after I pay all my stuff off, I got this much left every month. That's what you're going to next month, the second month, put it at the top of your budget. Because now I don't want you to just pay what's left on your debt. I want you to take and pay your money up front to your debt. So in other words, with this number 3 here, after you've got your plan together and after you've got your small emergency money together, now you're attacking and hitting your debt really hard. And I want you to pay it off as fast as you can using that cushion into the debt snowball. So you have like your debt snowball is your plan. Now you put that money into your debt snowball and you start paying down. You list your things that you owe from lowest to highest. And you start paying that extra cushion every month towards the lowest debt that you have to pay it off quickly. And you try to get rid of your debts on things that are going down in value, right? So if you have a car, you want to pay that off as soon as possible, that you pay on every month. Pay that off as soon as possible. If you have credit cards, pay those off as soon as possible. Student loans, all these debts that are robbing you every single month because you have to pay towards them, $3, $4, $5, $1,000, $1,500 towards debts. You want to be getting rid of that because ultimately you're going to be investing that money so you can grow. Remember now, you're starting from zero. And when you're starting from zero, all of this becomes your plan, not just the goals that you came up with in number 1, but all of this becomes your plan to stop living paycheck to paycheck, to stop feeling stressed and overwhelmed with your money, right? This is all a part of your big plan to pull yourself up. Now, in the meantime, steps number 1, steps number 2, steps number 3 of you paying off your debt, you need to be reading and getting more new information about money, money management, handling money, thinking differently about money. Because again, you're at zero for a reason. You're at zero because of how you think about money. So you want to be thinking differently about money so you have different behaviors with money. And when you have different behaviors with money, you'll ultimately have different outcomes with money. But it all starts here. So you got to be taking in new information so you can have new behaviors and have new outcomes. So you got to be reading more. You got to be listening to new podcasts. You got to be watching, new YouTube channels like this channel. You got to be taking in new information because you got to change how you think about money. Very important. And that's through the first 3 steps here. The planning, the putting the emergency money to the side. And also number 3, the budgeting and coming up with that cushion that you're going to put towards debt in your debt snowball. And by the way, during these 3 steps I'm telling you, please be sure that you're getting the match from your job if your job offers a match in the 401k. I don't want you to stop contributing 3 to 5%, whatever that match is at your job. And if your job does not offer a match, I still suggest that you take 3 to 5% of your money even while you're doing the first 3 steps and still start investing a little bit into the stock market. Now listen, when I say stock market, you're a beginner. So I want you to be reading and learning and understanding what the stock market is, but I also want you at the same time to be making sure that you don't try to play the individual stock game. I just want you to put your money into a broad-based index fund or a broad-based ETF. Whatever that broad base, meaning it's covering the S&P 500 or it's covering the entire stock market. That's all I want you to do with your 3 to 5% if your job does not offer a match, right? You set up an account on Vanguard or Fidelity or Charles Schwab, whatever it may be, and you put 3 to 5% of your money into that. So the whole time that you're working on getting out of debt, building your small initial emergency fund and getting out of debt, you also are participating a little bit in the stock market and understanding, because this is your learning for what you're going to be doing when you finish getting out of debt. When you finish getting out of debt, I'm going to want you to start investing more money, 10 to 15% or more of your money towards the stock market, right? Into index funds, ETFs. But I want you to be getting your feet wet, dipping your toe in there and understanding and learning the whole time that you're working on getting out of debt. That's my suggestion, because I don't want you to spend those year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years that you're getting out of debt. I don't want you to lose time in the market. And I don't want you to lose all of the learning that you can be doing in the market. And I don't want you to lose that education about what index funds and what ETFs and what the stock market is all about. So I want you to still be putting a tiny little percentage of your money towards the stock market in ETFs and index funds the whole time that you're doing number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, after you finish getting out of debt, Then I want you to go ahead and work on fully funding your emergency fund and investing. That's when you can begin to do those things after you get out of the bad debt. And when I say bad debt, I'm talking debt on things that are going down in value. If you have debt on real estate, your own personal residence, your primary residence, or some rental property, that's okay, because I understand that that is going up in value, and I'm not going to be mad at you for that. But anything other than that, get out of that debt, because all that money that you're putting towards that debt, you're going to be able to, in 2 or 3 years or less, turn around and put that money into investments that you now understand, because the whole time you were investing a little bit either at your job's match or in your own brokerage account, 3 to 5%, no more. Don't invest 10 and 15 and 20% in the stock market of your money in the stock market if you have a bunch of debt, right? That doesn't make sense. Don't do that. Only a little bit to keep your toe in the market, to keep your learning and your head in the market. And by the time you get done paying off your debt, then you can focus on increasing those investment amounts along with increasing your emergency fund. This is the blueprint, right? Because I want you to build a firm, solid foundation with your money. I don't want you to go out and get a whole bunch of more money and put it on top of bad money habits. Get a whole bunch of money and put it on bad discipline with money. Go out, get a whole bunch of money and put it on bad money management, right? Build a foundation, and then you can add to the foundation once it's there. Once it's strong and it's there and it's intact. This is how you start from zero. It's all a part of your plan to actually make this thing work. So it's possible. You can do this. You can turn your whole financial situation around. It starts here, and it starts with strategy. Starts with your goals and what you're willing to sacrifice and how disciplined you want to be, how consistent you plan to be, right? What is your strategy, right? I gave you a blueprint. This is a blueprint for becoming good with your money down the road, right? I don't want you to just get good with your money today. Develop the habits and the skills that it takes to get good with money down the road. Now, you may be saying to yourself, hey, I don't make a whole bunch of money. Listen, if you don't make a whole bunch of money and you don't make the money that you think you should be making, you always have the option to get more skills so that you can increase your income. Maybe you say, hey, I only bring home $3,000 a month and my bills are $2,800 a month. I don't have no cushion and I don't really have a whole lot of debt. Then maybe you need to increase your income. So you don't just bring home $3,000 a month, you bring home $5,000 a month. Maybe in your goals or in your plan or strategy, you need to put down, I want to increase my skills. How do I get more skills in the process so that by the time I get to step number 3 and 4, I'm not making $30,000 a year, I'm making $70,000 a year. You have the power to do that. You can plug that into your goals as well, because that's a part of your personal finances too. But it all starts with a plan, with a strategy for how you're going to do it. That's written down, that you hold yourself accountable to. It's possible. Guys, I hope I was able, with this quick little breakdown of how you can start with nothing and go to something, I hope this was able to help encourage you, maybe motivate you, and maybe inspire some of you to say, hey, let me get out the pen and paper tonight and write this thing out. Let me jump on my laptop and put in, exactly what my plan is going to be for my short-term goals and my long-term personal finance goals, right? I hope I was able to do that for you on this quick video, guys. If you got anything out of the video, do me a favor and smash the like button. Please share this link with someone who you think or you know could actually use this information. And as I always say, hey, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, take good care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.